would just like to remind everyone, I think it was in the email that we sent out, that this event is going to be recorded for our archives. And so we can share it with those who couldn't make it tonight, in case you'd like to have your camera off for that for any reason. So a couple thank yous to start things off. I'd want to extend a warm thanks to all the participating readers tonight, of which there are more than a couple, who will each be reading individual poems from Planet Drill. We'll be hearing from Lisa Wells, Cole Swensen, Carlos Lara, Leo Dunsker, Tony Tulathimutte, Jared Robinson, Dan Poppick, Alex Walton, Jen Mazza, Katie Fowley, Manuel Paul Lopez, Sara Deniz Akant, Bedient, Imani Elizabeth Jackson, and of course from Jessica herself. Their bios are in a program that was just posted in the chat by Jessica that she has very graciously put together. And at the end of the reading, we're going to try and save time for a casual sort of Q&A. So a couple more thank yous. I'd like to extend a really warm thank you to our board and our board president, Monica De La Torre. Thank you to our donors, subscribers, and funders, including the New York State Council on the Arts, New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, the National Endowment for the Arts, and the community of literary magazines and presses for all of their indispensable support. Thank you to Everything Studio for the cover design for Planet Drill, to H.R. Hegnauer for the interior design, and to Marcella Durand and Liv Schwenk for copy editing. I'd like to thank the LGBTQ Center on West 13th Street, which provided us with the space in which we selected Planet Drill for publication. It was a very exciting day. To the editors who made this selection, including myself, Dan Macklin, Carly Dashiell, and Ariel Yelen. Thanks to our newest editor, our newest addition to the team, Ahana Ganguly. Thanks to Zoe Tuck and Rowan Waters for all their email and social media support for this event. And of course, thank you to James Loop for all his work behind the scenes. He's a very necessary member of the team. So I just want to say a couple words, sort of situating Planet Drill within Futurepoem's catalog. So as I said earlier, Planet Drill is the inaugural winner of the Other Futures Award. Our former managing editor, Carly Dashiell, introduced the Other Futures Award as our second submission opportunity, in addition to our annual open call. The call for the Other Futures Award that we send out annually, which was written by Carly, reads, "The Other Futures Award is given annually to an innovative, adventurous, full-length work that challenges conventions of genre and language, content, and form. We are interested in writing that imagines new lived or literary possibilities and questions established paradigms." I don't want to go too much at this point, but suffice it to say that I couldn't have hoped for a better first recipient of this award. Jessica's uncanny ability to foreground the unexpected next statement is a liberating experience to read. Line by line, these poems make new the settings, textures, reasons, and language embedded in our chemically and minerally fueled landscape. The world is just as familiar as it isn't, and just as dark as it is light. And I'll read Jessica's bio. Where did it go? Jessica Lazar was born in Chicago. She's the author of Sergei Kuzmich from All Sides from Letter Machine Editions, and the chapbooks He That Feareth Every Grass Must Not Piss in a Meadow from Paradigm Press, and Assumed Knowledge and the Knowledge Assumed from Experience from the Catenary Press. Her work has been supported by Brown University, the Iowa Writers Workshop, the University of California, Berkeley, the Mastheads, and the New Literary Project. And I'm so excited to welcome Jess. You're muted, Jess. Yeah.
No, it said the host was not allowing participants. Hi, everyone. Wow, this is a tremendous reunion of people from so many parts of my life. Oh, wow, the host just did something where now I'm staring at myself instead of you guys, but that's cool. Okay, here I am now. I can block myself out and look at you guys. It's really amazing. I mean, Cole Swensen is here. It's 2 a.m. in Paris, where she is. I'm so grateful. Tony was my neighbor for the years in Iowa. I was writing this book. I asked him to come read. Bruno is here, who I met recently walking my dog and helped me find my headphone in the park. I mean, it's really a tremendous, a tremendous group. This is in addition to all the friends, old and new, and family. So I'm really moved. And I'm going to start by reading a couple poems. And then, as you can see in the program, I have these people that I really admire, also reading from the book. And I just wanted to say one word about why I wanted to do that for this reading. And part of it is that, as many of you know, I wrote this book a number of years ago. And it's such a joy for it to finally be in the world. And I feel like it came out at exactly the right time for it. And at the same time, in a certain way, I feel that I am almost not quite the same poet who wrote that book anymore. And so I thought, what better way to celebrate this book than as though we are celebrating the work of a poet that we can all share in the reading of the poems of. And so that's part of where this concept for this reading comes from. And I'm just really grateful to have you all here with me for it. So this poem is called Changing Planes. The disappearance of the public reason, the disappearance of the Pacific Ocean. Wanting to mate disparate sounds, he came unto his microphone, not as the last planet, but a latent surfeit. Hold me not from this childhood that used to take the place of bridges in Berlin. Here it was another tarmac, and then the plane from Russia land, and then we held the plane American. And all before this was the world's media, and verse came resolving more between posts. So like Icelandic music at the ends of each day, distance is the duty and death of horses. And this one is called Preventative Detention. The human is the first impossible animal of the possible. Have you come to look? They look. I warmed the field encroaching evil means. Then look, soon we'll be finished. No awe preparing the wall, that's sacred. Leave him here for the night unless he ascends again. What? Did you want to be held down? A bell to captivate the people, called them. Yes, to cast bells. All partition. It's impossible to pass on experience.
Thanks. Wouldn't let me do it. I love you, Jess, and I love this book. Trait. I'd like to maim my child, Jessica. A portrait does violence to nobody else. I want her to be over architect. An arc were not throughs my youth. Hortense. Was attending with help to change what is unchangeable into that which is unlike itself. The garden I imagined in opposition anyway. declined with thanks in natural uniform and hung my whites. Flown to the throne, muse, in search of a book. Life, fix it, but with waiting. Days as days before ran out into the sun to feel interior, came more quietly than the world's quiet approval. I am not very well mended stockings. Very well. Angels say man, but there are adequate hands and thunder and lightning.
Thank you. And thank you, Jessica, for bringing us all together around this gorgeous book. 3 Darvons. To cry had been physical. It was hands on the face. I lend neither climate, only surplus powers speech. I really stepped down on the things strewn without use. I really took a chair by the window. Understanding soil, I am afraid to know it directly. Then everything hidden by a heat. In the country, I was on my land. I knew passion without joking. I knew to know love. Had not parted his life. He had drawn back from it. Strange folds, who, as if on purpose, would render a child who had run down the path just as they were approaching. I didn't bear it, just having to take my boots off and put them without the door myself.
Thanks for having me, Jessica. I'm reading a poem called Plumber. Young effervescence surfaces. First affords a place to live, away. An embassy for perpetually foreign places. The compass. Glassware everywhere, refracted. Crystal millions. My lungs have shattered. Panting questions, curiosity yields. Constellates a state pursed by contradiction. I kept along my secret, plumbing, for keeps. State employed, I'm hungry, have glory, now money, now sadness, now none, concern, joy, fear, grief, humility, anger, pride, peace. I'm happy stricken, afflicted with so deep a burning of which cause ice is and can't help. Charity's a character. He has forms he fills out. In my secret gaze, a spliced idea. That glass lulled from its singular habitat to a cursory double structure sees further through itself than I through it, unless there's a thing inside for which welling there is nothing.
Hi, Jess. Hi, everybody. Fragility, mortality. No use but the words in simple rondelay, retrieving the planet from outer cities. Still, I would not know the scent from plant, and dimension wears a channel in the middle. No, but the word used its singular delay to pronounce a planet as dimensional, as channel waves digress into, conflating streams you can deploy, yourself before the medium surfaces, now as dimensional as when muted. Still, I would not mute the secret plant. There is no smart vacancy in me to boom off.
Hello, thank you to Jessica for having me. This is going to be my first ever poetry reading. Never done one before. Hang on one. Fog machine. All right, this one is called Skype. I'm reading this over Zoom. Skype. Knowing you free most visual things, a channel more capable would slow itself to collect, but eternal persons long the elementary way, alive in the way piracy knows thought. Thought it natural to be in a room leaving guns where I dropped them, most natural for all your plants. For if I'm holding their releases, I should time freedom's withstanding vibration, live on me like a cave on the earth. Privacy owed my plant an interior.
Yo, Jazz is such a good idea. 2, commerce is a safe we wanted to sterilize without touching. When a person recovers from imminence, the long, slow death of hope, there's no need anymore. Attachment mutates form. God gave people his rational existence, suffering smart. Cruel. Art is always rules. You're going to ask why to learn, and in your backseat leather cove, your child bored recites what he did. He heeded. He silenced what silence is, housed in chatter, how he cheered his betters on, sewed in garments valuables, wears them, never laundered, plans. To explain you imparts your organs, nice teeth. He tries to explain himself, but I'm so general. Picture his inside for a second. He never saw him inside, never was. He can't inform you, not even a habit. He has a judgment, his expectations make him fail.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, this is my first poetry reading too. I just want to say that it's an honor to be here, part of this Lazarian family reunion. And it's wonderful to see all of you. This is called Carrying Comfort. I am the very sickness of my mouth. All March, mowing around beliefs called by some a home. By me, April's coming anyway. Let it be rose themed and theme colored so the roses match. All month, it's been March. The sky breathes its pen, beckons the enclosure over, the human vapor, the air of it now, around clouds sing over, and louder than. Olympian dialect. I thought I heard mist. So children, laughing, echo information. Let's stir this house above the garland and start the ocean where it melts and meet the horizon and draw fate from its basin. Too much to dawn on. Houses surface instead, town willing to shed wide skin you feel against your own failed field, feed someone.
Hi, I feel like I've been waiting my whole life for this book, so it's a Good Friday. This is called Poem with Lies. Nothing in pride but a flower. Nothing in a stare but glass life. No fruit but a spore and silent nectar. To remember, this is to bear all things. Life bears no fruit but of too much color, stands for taste where sun and taste ally. Branches permeate less, I see through them. This is not a passionless lie. I know they are living when they all slope, when all they slope is pale and dusk beneath, and though I open my finer imitation, love is a child spurned, unpracticed for. Things I've experienced number far greater than those I love, so I felt, as I feel, doubt is fate, and doubly so for being left alone, indeterminate. The thief is about, must be. I have 3 verses in me left before it leaves, and it's summer, summer, summer. I live with 3 people. They're my parents. They place a bowl of sand before me and a spoon and beg me drink. Drink, I ask? The chain is yellow. She is sitting there, and he, and he. And with the sun, one end in each hand, I pass the hours walking. A child poverty comes with money on the table, and leave remembering having no belongings. My funds are my exercise. The child moves faster for it. I quarter the three I love most, 4 chairs round a table, the blue vase full of flowers, life a show of flowers. Your life is showing indebtedness, revenge. I say it won't be long now. The verses are up with the sun. The sky tucks in the newborn focus. When the parliament falls, down will come interest. A transparent person, 3 of them, turning on me, their focus over the table, money, and a glass of sand I could mistake for settlements in the way of clouds. Only yesterday I saw them stirring and let them slide under me, where rest takes shape. Home, because in summer there is no war room or medicine. In summer, there we are, too much outside. And the blood when waters freeze is the blood thick salt left when waters leave. Time passes so quickly now, I can hardly say all the words I don't want to say I can't say them. I have.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Jess. The poem I'm reading is short, a mere 5 lines. So Jess and I talked about how to give it a little space. I'm going to read it twice with a short comment in the middle. Builder, it was easy to know I was telling the truth. I had 3 desires. I hid the first under 2 stones. I asked myself, what are the 3 desires? For me, this poem is like a riddle with a promise that the answer will be concealed in the question. So I'll read it once more. Builder, it was easy to know I was telling the truth. I had 3 desires. I hid the first under 2 stones.
Thank you. Thank you, Jess, so much for having me. And it's so great to see all of you here. And I'm so happy that this book is in the world. Uniform. A tiger? Time-prone parade where varied stops and hamburger buns tide the populace over? Line in a row? Yep. Equally drawn solidarity capes. Darkness unites. One star combs the air with rays. Blank stare to which Clematis aims, whichever may climb it. Case history. Jessica L., you know well I can't stand you. Rub off. Can't stand you under the branched way. I look at you. Can't understand the way too much. Etch independence. 17767767766. Ever seen a tattoo that long? Who understands my choices, what I cannot be.
Congratulations, Jessica. Television. Judgment Day is a noble explanation for dark thought. So believers live in constant. Judgments are satisfactory where they work. God was cruel to his creations. My creations disappoint me too. I made them to. Their hearts are like my heart in form, not content. I like to make a judgment. My life flickers. Is this day I've fallen in the chair where I've been? Someone who trusts me, calls me worthy.
Hello, Jessica L. You know I can't stand you. And everyone, I'm so happy to be part of this book, reading a book that's very close to my heart and these poems as well. This poem is called Sarita. Sarita wears the skirt of her previous dress and a halter. Mark wears pants and a Hawaiian shirt. What happened? Someone passed out. Was she wet? She fell in. She was wearing shoes. You can also die. Maybe the water dried. I didn't see any. I didn't fall in love with the water. What did she die of? I don't think she did. His feet as if doing a conga. I do. Sarita kneels. She's right of the kitchen table. Julio on the floor. Their clothes are heard. Julio stands, slip, underwear. Hey, baby, baby. His head on her lap. Their rhythm song is set by her sobbing. She sobs. Mark does. There is pause. Because I am miserable. They step together. If he hits me, he's dead. She nods, lowers. Can I call up? Will you wait till I get up? Mark at the table, key, sound, Julio, blue suit. I had this key. I had to return. Mark with his head on the table. Sarita and Mark wear the same as last seen. Mark, a soldier's uniform, pause. Get out. There is pause. Let him at him. She nods, a knock. Come sit in my lap. Julio drops his suspenders. Sarita straddles. Her pelvis moves. Why are you the way you are?
I've unmuted, but I don't see my face. Am I supposed to see it? Oh, there it is. Horrible up there in the top. Okay. All right. Am I ready to go? I'm looking at Sara. Sara, hello. Wonderful to see you again. Jessica, I'm delighted to read from your brilliant book, flawless book, astonishing. Preparing to spend the night. I think because I feel I am a castle, white on top of the lookout. It's that cement between the stones that outlasts the stones. And so the wall shapes that which is beyond the wall, and in front of it, darkness, a past which I can see. No one understands daylight really, and I would call them out, but then again, I would forget the joy in death. And in some bedroom, the night holy. Those unknown to me don't know I'm here. I mean, my hand is in the way. I think of calling you, but must your voice be that ocean that I cannot produce? For example, the building produces heat, and so do I. Where are you? Where are you? The ocean makes no lord of itself. You can't imagine the details, though they lapped the shore. I think to call you to my side for a time. I have listened to one song, and nothing in it changed my aim to live free, including the sun. About earth I am fooled, and I have no hope, no cool and tiled hope to walk midnights again. How I wish to cry out, am already what honesty is loneliness. What have I that has left me so thoughtless as to wish to leave a world so full of sculpture today, white among stones, friends with sun and shade.
Yes, congratulations. I feel really lucky to be part of this tonight. This is Under the Auspices. Looked up the meaning of farming. The sky is no more, no ore. For this, I think I am met like scrolls, or if the two men could love as I, the floor and the ground. For the seats are filled. Here I thank my understanding. Must I lose myself in ways, or understanding extending my gloss to find an animal, the painted room? Not important, but compelling. Then people forming a band emit scent, not knowing. Then I was lore again, the seats before me. You'd be waking just then in a row and in the corner, so I could lose my eyes and sway, normal feeling upwards. But the dance has steps, at least to close another act is glass, breaking the event in its large room with many chairs, its column among large candles, which, to bear light, return the animal to circle a table before writing on it.
Thank you, everyone. Now I'm going to read all the poems they just read. Just kidding. I'm just going to read a couple that I didn't list in the program, and then I'll read the title poem. This is called Graves. I found one loose on the ground and thought to take it with me and put it in my will. I have a faint appearance. I have a look. Do I like to see the fields or be in them? I like to be in the sun. And this one is called The Noble Rider. Whose BMX is this? Propped beside the dumpster with one popped tire. Bad for the key to pull it from the lock. When I open the lid, I smell the old rotary phone, pogo sticks, yet the fly, the other fly, can't save, has died. Goodbye. See you soon. Tomorrow. Perhaps the lucky ones lost everything controllable and no longer have impulses. People get two, women say, privileges. An eye two flies. A fly dying to be a fly. What else is a person to say? People crack the same together, wrenching. Who will crack with me when you are experimental, playing a pedal, fearing your finger numbed forever from touching over and over a taut string? The bow goes. I brought a snow globe from Tel Aviv to an ornamental mantle in NYC with a camel and desert and no snow, gold glitter sandstorm to shake here. You are bad, unreasonable. I am your receptacle, say the fires I believe in, and they in me. Do we ruin or no? I know I only brought you chairs. There was not a place to lean against the fire, but a log. Listen, you've exhausted me, the pair of you. I don't live in their house, neither do you in ours. Let's walk out onto the golf course, just the two of us. I have to catch you, tell you the latest, at least that I've been gone. You're right here, and he's been gone. He's been with you. Our friend is dead, and you are playing outside when I leave in a few hours, tomorrow, for the same task, watching the bike lean, all out of owners who may have been small or routine. But since I've not seen a million men riding, knees raking the squall, I have thought those men alone, since no one raised their seats, or keeping low to be unseen, or come unfixed because the blame leaps off them that's holding them at the end of the night. All right, and then this is the title poem of the book, Planet Joe. Actually, sorry, I just had this thought. I just thought it would be fun, actually, because there's a little extra time. I could share this impetus for this poem. So in my first semester at the Writers' Workshop, along with many of the people on this Zoom, we took a seminar from the poet James Galvin on the poet James Merrill. And Jim Galvin, in teaching the poem, was talking about how the first stanza of this one James Merrill poem that's called The Broken Home, he was saying that that poem is the only piece of non-blank verse that James Merrill ever wrote. And so Galvin brought in for us what he considered this like blank verse translation of the original Merrill piece and the way that he extended the meter, blank verse is basically iambic pentameter, right? So the way that he extended the meter to fill out the lines that didn't have enough beats in them was he repeated language from the previous line at the beginning of the line. So I'm going to explain this to you through example. So the broken home begins, crossing the street, I saw the parents and the child at their window, gleaming like fruit with evenings, gleaming like fruit with evening's gold leaf, okay? And then when he did this translation, it went, crossing the street, I saw the parents and their child at their window, gleaming like fruit with evenings gleaming, like fruit with evening's gold leaf. And then it goes on, in a room on the floor below, sunless, cooler, a brimming saucer of wax, marbly and dim. I have lit what's left of my life. I have thrown out yesterday's milk and opened a book of maxims. And in Galvin's version, again, the blank verse version, I have lit what's left of my life. Wait, what is it? Hold on. In a room on the floor below, sunless, cooler, on the floor below, sunless, cooler, a brimming saucer of wax, marbly and dim, I have lit what's left of my life. I have thrown out yesterday's milk and opened a book of maxims, etc. So you get the sense of how this repetition not only was just like basic repetition, but it begins to change the meaning of what the poem is saying. I hope you could hear this in my quick rendition of it. So after I learned that, I was so excited about that patterning that Planet Drill came out. So that's the, you'll hear the poem doing this sort of like wreathing technique. And that's where I got it, from that class. All right. Planet Drill. Into freedom, I seek to ascend vibration. Into freedom, I seek to ascend vibration. To ascend vibration, a glass wall long enough we've waited, our heads under desks. Under desks, the bombs will all but save us, but saved, the past is like a brick. Like a brick already, I'm living in the house. Living in the house, I live under construction. Construction by those with their heads under desks. Under desks, now chairs of the government running my front deck like a porch, the tomb. But what's like a deck? A deck is evening, the evening chamber as the evening draws back. The evening draws back to planet original color, a glass wall long enough to stand by then walking myself to glass the secrets don't themselves opaque, but opaque an alignment of invisible forces then together that force to commit martyrdom, or should have martyrdom become its own martyr. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here.
Thanks so much, Jess, and thanks again to all of the readers tonight. It was so wonderful to hear this chorus of different voices in this book. So planet original color, exactly. So we have some time for a bit of a casual sort of Q&A. I think it's probably wisest to have people post their questions in the chat as opposed to saying them out loud. So if there's any questions you'd like to ask Jessica, please go ahead.
The only question you can't ask is, please explain the poems.
Jess, do you see the question from Lisa?
Yes, my answer to Lisa's question, it feels good. I mean, I think it's amazing. No, I mean, I just think the answer is good. And I think I mean, in a certain sense, these poems have been kind of in the vault for a while, and so hearing them, getting them aired out like this feels good, just sort of spiritually, and then hearing these readers, I think I was surprised how much of the music of the poems actually translates as I hoped it might. So that was heartening. The best job reading was Tony Tulathimutte. Just kidding, but just because he asked. Everyone honestly looks better, I think. No. I don't think we need to put people on the spot like that. But if anyone needs to say something, if you're burning to say something, of course, feel free.
I'm going to say, so great to hear it. So great to hear these poems again after knowing them, some of them years and years ago. And wonderful to see everybody. And I'm going to duck out because it's 2:50, but I'm so glad I got to join you all.
Thank you, Cole. Thank you so much. Cole was my teacher when I was writing the poems and was really supportive of the mode in which I was writing. And it's really an honor to have her here.
Bye, all.
Jess, everyone wants an encore. Could you read Planet Drill again?
The whole book, or no, I'm just kidding, the poem, right?
No, definitely the whole book.
No,
the poem.
I'm happy to read it again. Yeah. I'm muted. Okay, here it is. Planet Drill. Wait, so, well, never mind. Okay, so no, but I just want to say also, so I remember like sitting on the couch in Iowa City writing this poem all these years ago. And I just remember the last thing I did in the poem was I was like, I want to communicate that there's this rule in this poem that you have to repeat some of the language from the previous line to get to the next line. And I didn't know what to do with the fact of there being a first line in the poem, because that poem, right, it didn't come from anywhere. And then I just remember the last thing I did with the poem was think, oh, I see, the logical kind of final extension of this rule would be to repeat an entire line. And so that's why the first line repeats. It was to try to teach something about the rule. that poet who wrote that. All right, Planet Drill. Into freedom, I seek to ascend vibration. Into freedom, I seek to ascend vibration. To ascend vibration, a glass wall long enough. Long enough we've waited, our heads under desks. Under desks, the bombs will all but save us. But save us. But saved, the past is like a brick. Like a brick already, I'm living in the house. Living in the house, I live under construction. Construction by those with their heads under desks. Under desks, now chairs of the government running. The government running my front deck like a porch. Like a porch, the tomb. But what's like a deck? A deck is evening. The evening chamber. The evening chamber as the evening draws back. The evening draws back to planet original color, planet original color. a glass wall long enough to stand by then walking myself to glass the secrets don't themselves opaque, but opaque in alignment of invisible forces then together that force to commit martyrdom, or should have martyrdom become its own martyr. Thank you again. Never done an encore. This is a big deal for me.
Yeah, thanks so much. That was a really great idea. And I think perhaps that's like a really wonderful place to end. I'd just like to say again, thanks to all the readers. This was so fun and such a great idea, Jessica. Thanks for all your help in putting it together as well. And could we have another round of applause? Silent applause.
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. It's just such a joy to see you, and to these readers, thank you so much for giving voice to my poems. Truly, like, the great pleasure for me.